So I truly hope that the message I'm sharing inspires and motivates you to improve your life. Now let's get to the point. So today's episode is going to be about showing up even when you don't feel like it. In other words, how to be self-disciplined. I want to talk about this topic today because lots of people struggle with this. The good news is you can become more self-disciplined. How? I'll share some tips with you later on in this video. So with this video, I want to motivate you to take the first step into becoming a more disciplined person. I use the word motivation on purpose because it starts with that, motivation. So motivation is basically the driving force behind human actions. Simply put, the reason for someone choosing to do or not to do something. It comes from the word motive, which stands for a person's needs, desires, wants, and urges. So there are different types of motivation, but for this video, we'll just talk about two of them. So you have intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation comes from within. An example can be you do something because it aligns with your passion and your personal values. Extrinsic, on the other hand, comes from external factors. So let's say you do something because you get rewarded for it, or you choose not to do something because you know that there will be negative consequences attached to that. Let's say, for example, stealing something. So now that you know what motivation is, I want to talk about what discipline is. So discipline is basically the engine that keeps you going forward to take whatever action necessary, regardless of what you're feeling physically or emotionally. An example, you might feel like shit today, or the weather is bad, or you have muscle soreness, but because you're so dedicated to achieve what it is you want to achieve, you don't let these external factors stop you. So without discipline, you won't be able to reach your goals because motivation fades away at some point. And discipline is the engine that kind of keeps you going. So basically the difference between motivation and discipline is that motivation, you do it when you feel like it, and discipline is when you do something regardless of how you feel. So a personal story, I got the idea for this video while going to my fitness journal. So I have a journal where I write down my exercises, my reps, my sets, and I also write down how I feel before, during, and after my training. So as I was going to my journal, I noticed that on lots of occasions I wrote down I didn't feel like it, but I'm glad I did it anyway. So basically I showed up even when I didn't feel like it, and the result is that I was 100% satisfied at the end of my workout. I was proud of myself, I was feeling good about myself, and I was just glad that I actually did what I didn't feel like doing. But due to the fact that I showed up, I built my self-discipline muscle. And what I also did is, even when I didn't feel like it, or maybe I was sore, I adjusted my workout and completed it anyway. Of course, if changing the workout happens too often, it's time to sit down and see what exactly is causing me to do this. But in general, it's about showing up and doing it anyways, especially when you don't feel like it. I need you to do the same, especially on days when you don't feel like working out or being active. These are the moments when you get the chance to build that self-discipline muscle. Because I can tell you one thing, and that's that motivation alone is not gonna help you. So as I promised you at the beginning of this video, I'm now going to share with you 4 things you can do to start strengthening your self-discipline muscle. So how does one build or strengthen the discipline muscle? So the first thing to start with is to have a goal in mind and having a why. So your why will keep you accountable. If your why, your reason is not big or important enough, you're not going to be able to stick to it when times get rough. So examples of whys could be leaving a legacy, being in the greatest shape you've ever been in, connecting people with the type of service you want to provide, etc. Before you start writing down anything else, get your why clear. Write it down so it crystallizes. So the second thing is know your strengths and weaknesses. This way you know what temptations to remove, and you'll know what to do and what not to do to make it easier to be more disciplined. So in psychology, there's this theory called ego depletion. So what it basically means is that we all have a limited amount of willpower and mental resources to resist temptations. So the more of this willpower and mental resources you use during the day, the harder it gets to stay focused on the stuff you need to do. So you might want to remove temptations around you to make it easier to stay focused and to reach your goals. Number 3 is to start small. So don't try to do 10 things at the same time, especially things you're not used to doing. Focus on 2 or 3 things or minor things, and when they become habits, you can start adding more. Last but not least, number 4, and that is find a coach or community that can support you and keep you accountable. So it's easier to give up when you're trying to do something on your own, right? If you surround yourself with people who are trying to do what you're trying to do, and you tell them about your plans, it's easier to find support to help you along the way. So find a group, or maybe a friend, or any other like-minded people, and ask for help when needed. I encourage you to take the first step today to start strengthening your discipline muscle and see the impact it has on your life. So that was the video for today. Before I shut off this camera, I want to end this video with a quote by Lao Tzu. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. And he said, "Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power." I want to end it with that, and I hope you found value in today's video. If so, don't forget to like this video, and also don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.